everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars. And today I thought we would talk about how we can survive during these times that we're having right now with the increasing costs. I have been to the grocery store and the prices are nothing like I've ever seen in my lifetime. I could not afford chicken. And back when my kids were young, the thing that we always could fall back on was hamburger and chicken. But the prices of those two items, which used to be our most economical meats, have just skyrocketed. And so I was able to find some chicken breasts with the bone and the skin still on the other day for $1.79 at Aldi. And so I snatched some of those up so that we could at least have some fried chicken one night. But if you want to buy the thighs or the legs, those can still be economical. But if you want to have any of the white meat pieces of chicken, the price has gotten crazy. Even ground turkey was up over $4 a pound. And that used to be something that you could fall back on. And that's not the only thing that's skyrocketed. Our propane has gone through the ceiling. It cost me $600 and some to fill up the tank once this last year, and then I only got 200 more gallon to just try to make it through the rest of the winter air that we were having, and it again cost me almost $300 just for 200 gallon. And so we have to make allowances somewhere to try to get through what is happening right now. It's crazy times. And as I try to give tips, you can pick and choose what works for you. By no means is what I say the gospel, but these are things that I do and the way that I live my life, and we are making it. It is strategic right now. You have to pick and choose what is the most important and how you're going to spend that dollar. The cushy modern norm is not going to work through these times right now unless you just make a ton of money or you want to go into a ton of debt to continue to live the way you're living. The idea is that we can't do things or you're not going to do things. You're just going to get farther in debt or spend any nest hold that you do have at this point if you continue and don't change anything. I hear a lot of times that I can't do things and I can't serve this and I can't make this because it's unhealthy. This doesn't mean you have to be like this forever. It doesn't mean you always have to serve these things, but maybe slipping in a few frugal meals or a few frugal choices here and there might make a huge difference. We reuse our grease, and I've talked about this before, and even the FDA says you can reuse grease, and I'll hear from people that's not healthy, I'm not going to do that, that's gross. We've done that my entire life in our family, and it saves a ton of money when it comes to just rebuying grease that you're just going to use and then throw back out again. And I know I hear from people, I'm not going to do that, and that's your choice, but you've got to do something. So what are you going to do? You've got to do something. You've got to pick and choose something. And over my lifetime, I think about how many things have changed philosophies. How many diet fads have there been? How many different ways of eating different things that they say are healthy, or different vitamins that they say are healthy, and then later they change their mind. They decide later that that was totally not the case, and a whole new philosophy comes out. So we have to think about things like that and not be grounded and so firm in some of our beliefs that we're not willing to make a few adjustments here and there is all that I'm saying. The idea of what is healthy is constantly changing. Sometimes the most simple, basic plans work the best. And that's what I do in some of my life is I do some of the basic things I was taught in the Depression era by my parents, who knew how to get through when times were tough and knew how to get through as farmers when they didn't get a regular weekly paycheck and they had to make that wheat harvest money last and they had to make that cattle sale money last. And so I still live like that in a lot of ways. I don't live just thinking in the back of my head, well, I have another check coming in 2 weeks. I can spend all of this. I think, no, I'm not sure when my next money is coming. That's how I always have lived my life. So I'm going to be as careful as I can with that and make sure that I have money saved back in case that next check doesn't come. I'm just saying that you don't know what the future holds. So you have to be prepared for anything that you might not have planned. And so we're constantly looking for some big secret to get out of debt, some big secret to make ends meet. Then we make excuses why we can't do any of the things that are suggested for us. It doesn't have to stay that way forever to do some things to get by when times are tough. And we just have to hope that they're not going to stay tough. Sometimes we make it too hard. Saving money doesn't have to be hard, but we think in our mind that it is hard, and we think that it's impossible, and we think that it's insurmountable, when getting out of debt really doesn't have to be hard, and staying and living within our means really doesn't have to be hard. We stand in our own way a lot of times. The small ways do add up. I hear a lot of times, well, that's too little to make a difference. I'm not going to do that. But when you add all those small ways together, they make a difference. And if you throw in a couple of bigger ways, then you've made a huge difference. And then you get all of that stress starting to come off of your back and off of your budget. And it does make a huge difference. It all matters. It all needs to be done together, cohesively and consistently to meet those goals. We always have a choice. It may not be the things that we want, but we always have a choice. So we can choose to do some things that are cheaper than we would normally do them if everything was going normally, if everything was going smoothly. But we have to throw in some of those easier, cheaper ways of doing things. And even if you have to tell yourself it's just for now, it's just for now I'm going to do these cheaper things. And then maybe later on you'll find out that, hey, I can live doing those cheaper things. They really weren't that hard. I just thought that they were, and I thought I didn't want to do it, but it's really not that bad. I can do that. If you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. If you want that stress decreased bad enough financially, you can make that happen. I can guarantee that if you want something bad enough, you can find a way. There's been many times in my life that I wanted something desperately and I thought there was no way. And when I sat down and really put my thinking cap on, I found a way every single time to make it work. But when I put up that block and say there's no way, it's not going to happen, I can't do it, then I convince myself that there's no way, I can't do it. But if you give yourself some time to sit down and process that and look at some different options, I can guarantee you, you can almost always find a way for whatever it is. We make ourselves think that we can't. We make ourselves think that we're stuck, and we get in our own way. Think back to being a teenager and you wanted that album that was coming out, or you wanted to go to that concert and you didn't have any money. What did you do back then? Did you babysit? Did you mow some grass? Did you wash some cars? There's always a way. Sometimes we just think that there isn't. So why as adults, when we could figure this out as teenagers, why as adults do we convince ourselves that we can't do this? We have fooled ourselves into thinking that we can't. We really have, but we can. We can do this. We can come up with some cheaper recipes. We can come up with some free TV instead of cable. We can come up with ways to cut our electricity bill. I have 3 different videos on how to cut your electricity bill. I got it clear down to $67 last summer. There are so many ways that you can find money in your budget if you really sit down and think and process and be strategic. I hope this is helpful to you. I want it to be encouraging to you. I know things are tough right now. I know things are different than they've ever been, but we can do this. We can work together. We can give each other suggestions. We can try new things that we haven't done before or try old things from the Depression era that worked and still work. If you found this valuable, please give me a thumbs up and I would appreciate you following my channel. You have a great day.